Up here in the top position, he is BYUN. And his opponent, down here in the bottom, he is Zest. And you know, one thing I love about BYUN is he does this one thing that just makes him very endearing. He always sends a SCV across the map to block the opponent's Nexus with an NG Bay. It's kind of his signature move right now, now that Reapers are a little bit nerfed. Instantly Zest is going to pull because he knew that this was coming. It's a little bit predictable, but at the same time, fun to see. And honestly, it doesn't really cost BYUN that much. It doesn't really slow down his build at all either. It looks like we are going to be going for a much faster Hellion style as well. And BYUN really has been favoring these early aggressive Hellion styles, especially versus Protoss. I'm interested to see how Zest will react to this. A lot of the time, he'll just throw down a couple of buildings in the wall, and from there, just keep a couple of stalkers there to prevent the Hellions from running in. But the problem is that BYUN always has been following it up with a really big Widowmine drop that has not failed to get damage done. This is indeed live from replay. Now, one problem with this for BYUN is that he won't have a a large number of Marines to deal with the Oracle that's going to pop. But you know, he will have the Widow Mines because once he gets that second set of Hellions, he should be switching straight into the mines. There won't be any shots from the alcohol sponsor. That's reserved for Fireball Friday. We're watching the replays, but the casting is live. But you know what we are watching is BYUN hop right in there. Going to get a couple of good connections already. 3 probes going down and more to follow. The Adepts trying to shade in to defend this, but still massive amounts of damage for BYUN. And he is just starting to roll. Back on the other side, though, he's going to lose a couple of his own workers to the Oracle. The Widowmines, though, are in position, and Zest has to be very careful of where he flies. This is a no-fly zone. I have been great, Maddie4747. Any day I get to cast StarCraft 2 is a good day, and I also got my drone license, so now I am a registered commercial drone pilot, and these Adepts are registered SCV killers. Now, this is a good reaction out of Zest. He's just trying to get a little bit more damage done with this. The Widowmines, though, do get taken down by the Phoenix on the other side of the map. And the Adepts, they're just really shutting this down for BYUN. He's not been able to mine from this base for quite a bit of time. But now with the Cyclone, he is able to defend. And USA. Behind all of this, BYUN does like to go for a siege tanks behind this. Although he is going to try and let the Adepts in so that he can pick those off. The Adepts know better. How I actually saw in BYUN versus Trap, which by the way is over on our Alpha X SC2 YouTube channel, that BYUN really baited the Adepts to going in a couple of games. And, absolutely decimated them behind it. But the Phoenix just gonna kind of play around here, get a couple of SEV kills, and behind all of this we do have DTs on the way. Now, with DTs, you have a couple of options. You have the ability to send those in and kind of just cause some damage, especially just denying those mules from being dropped. That's 250 minerals of damage without having to do too much. Or you could even just morph them into Archons with the charge lots and go for a very big push. We'll have to see what Zest is going to decide to do here, because he is still containing BYUN on 2 bases, although the third one is almost complete. Looks like they had some problems with this game, as that is the second pause of the series. But every time that Zest has flown in, he's picked off a couple of workers, so currently he is up in that regard, over 10. I think that's about 12, actually. I can't do math, I went to public school. Now BYUN actually just dropped a fresh load of mules, so he doesn't have the scan to deal with this just yet, but as the as that base finishes, that's when things get dicey. But yeah, Zest just really putting this soft contain to its full use. BYUN, however, has decided that it is time for a rebuttal. It's an absolutely massive army. Move across the map. Oh, I know, it's just a joke. Yeah, BYUN finally able to move out here. This is a nice army for Zest, but it's definitely not enough to break this, I feel. You're going to have to come in from the multiple ramp angles just to get on top of it. And here we go. Zest is going to actually try his darndest to end this game. Right now, the Phoenix lifting up the siege tank, so they are not going to get any damage done. The SCVs are pulled as well. And already 13 workers going down. But BYUN is actually starting to clean this up a little bit. The next warping of Zealot's going to help finish that off, though. Phoenix reigning supreme in the sky. The Zealot's getting taken down. No healing with this for the meantime. Man, I wish I could say this is GG, but this is BYUN we're talking about. Zest floating over 1,000 minerals. He's just waiting to use that on the warp gate units. The question is, will it be enough to break BYUN here? Currently up over 20 army supply. You know, the funny thing is, I can't even call BYUN dead here. Zest gonna go on the retreat. But in the meantime, to reinforce his army, the Phoenix still flying high in the sky, and BYUN actually doesn't have any AoE units. He only has this one Widow Mine and a couple more hidden somewhere. Just popping. He is ahead in terms of that upgrade lead, though, so that's going to help him in the fight a little bit. Keeping the Widow Mines in the back for the retreat, as he knows he can't hold the ramp. Oracle going to get a good revelation on all of this, even getting the Widow Mines, so that just dampens their ability to go further. I'm really surprised that Zest hasn't decided to pull the trigger just yet, seeing what he's seen. He really is just giving BYUN a lot of time to recover. Even going up to the Ghost Academy as well. I don't know if that's the natural choice here, because we do see the robotic space, so we should be going into Colossus or Disruptors here pretty soon. Looks like he was able to bait one of the Phoenix in and destroy it. Now BYUN does have an idea that this is here, so he knows where the opponent is most likely going to be coming from. But yeah, double Colossus production. I don't think BYUN is going to be long for this world. They're going to help him out, and actually fighting in a bit of a choke point, going to make sure that those Zealots don't get enough area of effect for him. The Zealot's going to get taken out really quickly here, but there are still so many, and even going to get caught by the force fields. He saves a few of them. And, you know, BYUN is holding strong right now, even equal in that army supply. Zest, a little bit of an overextension with some of these attacks. Not really utilizing the Colossus as efficiently as he wants. But yeah, BYUN starting to get decimated here. The SCVs being pulled once again. He does get rid of the Guardian Shield, so he's going to keep doing enough damage, but I mean, Zest can really just throw away this army and have two more behind it. Even going to save one of those Colossus, as there's no Marines, just as I say that. BYUN taking down the Colossus. So that was an excellent pickoff there. Even another Phoenix going to go down. I have no idea how BYUN won that fight, or how he is so close in terms of that army supply now, even going up to a fourth base, but it is still nowhere near out of the woods for him just yet. 40 workers going down. He's currently down to 34. Mules, they're very powerful, but they're just not as powerful as Reddit would love to believe. Especially not when they're flying in the air, because a Phoenix has caught them. Zest kind of just recovering right now. He's got way more than he really needs to win this game. He's got that +3 attack as well, so his units are going to be hitting that much harder. BYUN, little bit broke there, only just now able to start his +3 armor. Now with these observers literally everywhere, just look at this vision for Zest. He sees the entire army and knows exactly the best time to move out. And with that base not being a planetary fortress, it is very risky to try and save that. DT's distracting over here. A big fight going to go down here. A lot of EMPs going off. The Colossus are going to go down as well as the Archons. So Zest will have to retreat on this side, but 16 more workers going down. BYUN just can't afford to remake them. I think, like, I don't want to say Zest is throwing here because he is still super far ahead. Just take a look at this income graph. Over 2,000 supply lead there, or mineral lead. And I mean, BYUN, he's kind of stabilized, but no, he hasn't. I think Zest is kind of playing with his food here. But now it's actually BYUN's turn to go on the attack. Thank you for the sub, AlpX Reality, for 15 months. That's about as long as this. That's about as long as this game may go, knowing BYUN, how BYUN doesn't like to GG. Once again, we have a huge DT run by, but BYUN just going to be moving out with his entire army, looking to kind of distract a majority of Zest's forces over by the 5th base. But once again, he is losing quite a bit here, having to recall onto that Nexus, however. EMP going to reveal all of the DTs. Huge disruptor hits going off. The second one does get a whiff, but I don't think this was the best fight for BYUN overall. He is very clumped up, so those Archons getting massive amounts of splash damage. Over here, though, he does cancel the 5th base before getting hit by a huge disruptor shot. So 18 workers is the prize here. And BYUN actually still has a pretty sizable army, 75 to 55. It's really going to come down to these next couple of disruptor hits for Zest. It's a factory. So even with 35 workers, BYUN is still able to pump out these units super well. The disruptors getting focused down, the liberators as well, gonna help keep these stalkers back. A little bit of an overextension here, I gotta say. I don't think BYUN wanted to fight here, but actually, now that I look at it, there's still so many marauders with this. He's gonna be able to pick off a few more units before backing out. Wow, what an epic game. If BYUN wins this, I swear they are going to nerf Terran into the ground. Because this is what BYUN does. He gets Terran nerfed. Now Zest's going to keep on the attack here. No SCVs in the production tab. So really Zest is going to try and get a few more nice pickoffs with these before backing out. He does not want to overextend. The huge lead that he had is pretty much gone. He still has a bit of a slight lead though, although BYUN doing his best to stop that. BYUN getting a good scan as well, just making sure that that base is not up and running. Now going to jump up here, get even more probe kills. Zest having some issues dealing with these drops. Feel better going to save these, but here comes the big engagement. Zealots going to engage before the rest of the army. High Templar's morphing into an Archon. I don't know if he has Storm. He does not. But with Zest finally cleaning this up, my goodness. What is this game? Super low economy at 21 minutes in. Every unit is going to count here, and Zest is deciding that Disruptors is the way to go. I think that is a good choice, because if you get enough good hits off, BYUN is never going to be able to remake these units. Take a look at that units lost tab. Zest actually losing over 10,000 more supply. But to his credit, he's doing amazing work with these run-bys, just making sure that the Zealots are getting their worth. The question is, when is BYUN going to counterattack here? Honestly, is it even worth that location? That was a big question as well. A couple of Disruptors going to try and keep this army away. BYUN just waiting for the right time. Huge EMP going down on a lot of those Stalkers. And the Zealots going to take down 14 more workers. A DT in the mix as well. BYUN still not on the attack just yet. Just really hard to engage with those Disruptors in play. And I think this is kind of BYUN's last huzzah with this force. He did come back very admirably in this game and shown that you can make a long game out of pretty much anything. But it's going to come down to this big army. Already a good start. Going to get the Robo facilities, so no more Disruptors. But we are in a bit of a base race situation now, and Zest has the advantage as he has more bases and more probes. Not enough to scan as well, so this DT is going to get quite a bit of work done. He needs to kill off that Dark Shrine if he's going to win this. Yeah, BYUN focusing a little bit too hard on this side. He does have some units up here to keep himself alive, but they are really low on health, and the energy is gone from these medevacs. It is neck and neck here, and Zest actually going to decide to retreat and kill off this army if he can. Wow. BYUN making an excellent game out of it, and if he can actually fight on top of this ramp, I don't think there's a Warp Prism. Okay, there is one Warp Prism far away, but all of his tech structures are gone. Now Zest can't even really recall to that Nexus. Before the connections can even get off, BYUN is able to mitigate a lot of the damage. Only one Ghost there dying. And now it looks like BYUN is going to be attacking the final mining base of Zest. Oh my goodness. Zest, BYUN still has a couple of CCs as well. He's got 2 of them. So if he can keep those mining, he does have enough to keep things going, but he does lose an army over here. BYUN, he's behind in supply, but it's going to be difficult to break that last nexus. It's going to come down to one big engagement, I feel, and if it does come down to that, then Zest does have more than enough to take it. Of good EMPs, but there's plenty of disruptor balls to keep BYUN from going up the ramp, but he knows it's now or never. An amazing focus fire there, going to make sure that he doesn't take too much damage from those disruptors. It's neck and neck in this fight, but Zest can juggle for quite a bit. The Archon's starting to fall. I think there's just a little bit too much here for Zest. There's actually no SCVs either. So BYUN not able to restart his mining. Shield batteries gonna pop as well. Scan going down, but that is going to be it. G. I said there were going to be good games, and I did not lie to you guys. BYUN pulling it back from the clutches of defeat to make it a much closer game than it overall should have been. Whew. And guess what, guys? No rest for the wicked. We're going to hop straight into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. So introducing this guy. An absolute god by that last game standard. He is BYUN. And his opponent down here in the bottom, the living legend, able to pull it out. He is Zest. Not to mention, with all that micro, BYUN did break his wrist a long time ago, and the thing about wrist breaks is that they do not heal easily when you playing such a micro-intensive game like this. So the fact, I actually think the military service, even though military service is pretty hard on the joints, I think that was more than enough to actually heal his wrist. It wasn't impossible, but the problem was he kept his CCs in the main base where he wasn't mining, and he only had five minerals, so he couldn't remake one for the longest time because he didn't want to risk losing another one of those CCs to the Zest counterattack. Yeah, a lot went on in that last game, and I could talk about that game forever. But I'm more interested at what's going to happen on a bit of a smaller map. BYUN is an aggressive player, and these kind of small maps, he can find some really good timing positions. Here, I think the best one would probably be about right here or here, because you can go into the natural quite easily. And have the siege tanks in behind where Zest can't go for a counterattack. But we'll have to see, because once again he's going to be going for Hellions. And like I said in game number 1, these Hellion timings have just been getting massive amounts of work for him. He's been doing the dive exceptionally well, in the fact that he's able to get 10, maybe 15 probes killed per run by. And then the Widow Mines followed up. Just throw Zest so far off his game. Kind of the calm before the storm here. There's one thing Zest can do is he really does need to kind of weaken down these Hellions before they can run in. Even getting a kill is pretty nice because it does take 3 Hellions to one-shot those probes. Zest, however, is going to keep up the pressure with the pylon right there. I think that is going to be straight for Stalkers because he does have those 3 gates. BYUN actually giving as much as he's taking. Jesus. Killing off a bunch of Stalkers there. But what does he really have at home to defend the Stalker attack? So far, it's just a couple of Widow Mines that are walking to their death. I think this is a bit of a misplay here from BYUN. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have what he needs to defend this. A bit of a build order loss here, I feel. But the Hellion actually going to be able to get in. Oh, there's a Widow Mine. So even as he's starting to get taken down in the front of his own base, he is able to do plenty of damage to Zest. The Widow Mine actually getting another shot. 12 workers going down. I think you know what, this is a replay, so I think we need to see that again. Okay, so that happens over there. Widow Mine gets an amazing shot, so 12 workers is the kill count. One good thing about replays is that you can relive that moment. Without drilling calls, he would kill the mines even faster. Yeah, what I meant by misplay was essentially he should have probably kept those at home for the moment. Now, BYUN is still a little bit behind in the worker count, but at this stage in the game, you really want to be much further ahead with the chrono boosted amount of probes. One Banshee going to be trying to get some more kills off. You know, BYUN is hurting a little bit for that economy. He's only just now getting that second CC finished up. Zest just losing so many workers here. He doesn't have Blink. He doesn't even have a Twilight Council right now. Relying on the Warp Prism for that high ground vision. And looking at this, BYUN is just going to keep the pressure going. As the Widow Mines getting even more kills on the other side of the map. So Zest just having trouble replacing. Zest is just having trouble reciprocating the amount of damage, but he still has quite a big army supply right here, and he's going to be attacking in multiple locations, it looks like. So is he going to be able to break BYUN? Zest has a little bit of a bank saved up, but that's mostly just for warp-ins on the gateway, waiting for the cooldown. Siege Tank's going to help out in the front, but a nice warp-in of Zealots going to make the Siege Tanks actually kill off his own units. And now, even more SCVs falling. This is just a really good contain by Zest. BYUN just not able to break out. Although if he does that, that might be a little bit better. Now it looks like Zest is going for the killing blow here, but these Stalkers actually taking way more shots than they need to, and that is actually going to be it. Zest ran out of steam. BYUN was struggling in that, but unfortunately Zest just taking way too much damage at home. Oh man, that was crazy. Look away for a second and it's over. Chris Joseph, thank you for the sub. Sub hype, ladies and gentlemen. As we move on to map number 3, Lightshade. We've seen two absolutely incredible games so far. One long, one short. But, you know, there is still a lot of SE2 left to play. So, without further ado, spawning in the bottom position, he is the teamless BYUN. And he doesn't even need one. He won BlizzCon without one. And his opponent, up here in the top, playing for Rye, he is Zest. I do agree that there were a lot of mistakes with that game. I think the biggest thing was that last decision to attack. Because BYUN, while he could hold there with the amount of siege tanks he had, he couldn't really move out effectively. So you can keep him contained on one base for a lot longer, especially if you keep that War Prism alive. I'm not sure if this was posted to YouTube already, but you can check out Alpha X SC2 on YouTube. Link is in the little description down below to check out more games like this, as well as some YouTube exclusives. We just had BYUN versus Trap as a YouTube exclusive posted yesterday, and that was an amazing series as well. But speaking of amazing, we do have BYUN going to be going for a bit of a Marauder timing here with that Tech Lab. And one thing BYUN has done in the past is he's made 2 Marauders and 1 Marine and then walked them across. And that's a strategy that has gotten him a lot of success in getting that early game damage, because it's forced probes off the line to defend, and he also kills off the Stalkers that are made by Zest. And looks like we got that second Marauder coming out. It's pretty much just when is BYUN going to pull the trigger. As his factory is coming up behind it, so he's not going to be completely all in with this, obviously. But there you go, the first Stalker getting caught out. Gonna be able to kill that. The second one not gonna be done in time for the bunker to start. Instantly canceling the Nexus. He wants to go for the defense on the high ground. Now the question is, how many probes is he gonna pull here? Good focus fire on that Stalker. Gonna make sure he does not lose the Marauder either. And Zest is gonna tap out. Excuse me there. I was so surprised. Yeah, that was excellent. That was amazing. Just a very fast win there by BYUN. No. There. All right. Now spawning. Down here in the bottom position, he is BYUN. And his opponent. Probably a little lactose intolerant right now. He is Zest. So BYUN is 2 games away from winning this best of 7, and we also have Zest still has a huge opportunity. I showed how. Oh, oh shoot. I'll have to fix that. But BYUN and Zest have just been making this an amazing series so far. It's just incredible how these 2 different styles, and you can really see the differences in their play, how they fight. I do think BYUN's cheese is absolutely legendary, but his macro and micro combination is where he excels. You know, game number 1, he was dead like 6 times in a row. And he still was not able to be killed. Zest, however, is a very solid shield. He's not stats level of Shield of Ire, but he's pretty darn close. Now Zest not going to be too worried about this. He's probably just assuming that it's 1 Reaper. 1 Reaper really won't do that much damage to the Nexus, so it's a pretty easy hold here for him. BYUN will have to kind of just salvage that in a little bit. Already getting 1 a probe kill, so it is worth its weight in gold. Behind this, we do see, once again, it's going to be Twilight Council. And with that Twilight Council, I think we should be seeing some more aggression out of Zest. He really does kind of favor these early aggressive builds as well. And the reason for it is it really gives him the room to breathe, to get up to that 3 base economy, to get into the later stages of the game with a lead. And a lot of time, he actually does get some good SCV kills as well. BYUN, however, playing it very safe, getting that additional bunker and DGs. I feel like this is the cheese that most Terrans have problems with, because at this stage in the game, your SCV count still isn't very large, so you really do need to be dropping the mules rather than banking up for scans, especially on 2 bases. So we'll have to see if BYUN can kind of recognize what's coming. He's already scouting around the map, but not really seeing anything in the standard proxy positions. So he's going to be a little bit in the dark here. The Warp Prism already around. There we go. He just barely sees it. So he's going to pull his entire army back. And the rest is actually going to go across the map because he knows that whatever Zest is planning, he's actually not going to have too much at home. Going to save that. Going to save that DT as well. 5 workers going down in the natural. Stim is complete. Combat shield's about to complete as well. Oh yeah, not only Terran. Everybody can have some issue with it. I think the War Prism actually does have to go home, however, to defend this third base. This is the kind of counter damage that BYUN needs. And I'm really excited because he did recognize that. One Archon did morph out of the DTs, so this is enough to pull it back. BYUN actually not able to get that third base dead as well, but actually it's 3 racks right now, so BYUN is gonna keep the aggression coming. There's still quite a bit of army here for Zest. He doesn't have Blink, but he does have that first Colossus. So any kind of damage that BYUN could do is going to be really mitigated. It'd be kind of funny if he lost the War Prism. Not funny for Zest. Now, we still don't see a third CC either for BYUN, and it's getting to be a little bit late in the game for one. He's sticking with this 2-base strategy, but the question is, will he kind of hit that timing with it, as he's kind of running out of time for it. As that Colossus count rises, as Zest starts to transition more. Just becomes so difficult to do this with only a 3 racks. This is BYUN we are talking about, however, and he's going to be moving across in one of his patented always attack, never defend strategies. Unfortunately, he might actually get caught out here in the middle of the map with his reinforcements. Has to keep his units together. Every stim is going to hurt because there are only 2 medevacs with this. But Zest is kind of just keeping him back as long as possible. Going to hold the ramp to try and keep him from doing any sort of damage, and even in position in the main base to catch this drop. Zerg can be very OP in PvT, definitely. BYUN only now having that 3rd CC on the way. He's going to be really behind in that regard. He's trying to catch the army from the back, but I think Zest is going to be able to just walk up here, block out most of the army. There aren't enough medevacs, and that is going to be it. GG is called. Zest with the power play there. Couple good force fields, and the Terran just can't react. Just an instant play right there. I know BYUN's got to be, he's got to be like hitting his head on the keyboard a little bit, like, why did I fall for that? Wow. Just incredible series so far. But I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. Plenty of ways to check out some more content on this channel. We've got a schedule, I believe. showing everything that's going on, always bringing you top-tier StarCraft pros. And, you know, speaking of top-tier StarCraft pros, spawning down here in the bottom, he is BYUN. And his opponent, hanging out in the top, he is Zest. So since BYUN got caught a little bit off guard in that game, I don't know if he's going to play it a little bit more defensive. I don't even know if he knows the word defensive is in his vocabulary. And that's the fun thing about BYUN. Basically, he is a best defense is a good offense kind of player. Zest also is very aware of this, going to be scouting around at the proxy locations, making sure that no Rax is out of place. Unfortunately for him, it's not. It's right there, so you do waste a little bit of that probe's time, and he gets to collect overtime, so you know he's happy about it. He goes home to the probe wife and probe kids, and they can afford Thanksgiving dinner this year. That's going to be mixing up once again. I think this is a good choice on this map. Oxide, it's a little bit bigger. It creates a good ability for this Stargate to get in there and do some damage. And I think just we saw, especially in game number 1, the use of those Phoenix when he roams them around the map. They just build so much utility, especially versus a player like BYUN, who likes to go for these timings with siege tanks, with Widow Mines, with Hellions. Trying to hide the Hellion as well. Looks like we're going to be going for a bit of a mix drop. Marines, maybe a couple Widow Mines. I think that'd be lovely. So Zest actually isn't going to be... So Zest isn't going to be... I'm trying to remember what I was about to say now after seeing that. Oh well. The Oracle comes in, gets 3 worker kills, maybe a couple more going to be going down. But he does run out of energy, so he can't get any more. He does pull the drop back though, which is really nice because that was meant to be dedicated damage over a longer period of time. Back at home, we have Blink starting up as well. Okay. Guess that guy isn't going to make it home for Thanksgiving. They paid him too much in overtime, so they had to fire him. So Zest isn't going to be going straight for that Stargate. He's not going to continuously use it anymore. He's going straight for the Blink style of play. Going to try and kill his opponent early and fast. And I mean, Blink Stalkers can do wonders here. There's not that many Marauders. There's no siege tanks. So this is really a good strategy for what BYUN is going for. Then even going to be going for a bit of a drop, trying to slow Zest down in any way that he can. But here we go, BYUN just now seeing this for the first time. The first couple of Stalkers going to get right on top of the bunker. That is not going to be healed in time. Some good pullbacks here with the blink. Going to make sure that he doesn't lose these Stalkers too prematurely. He does lose the Oracle, however, so he is not going to have high ground vision. A bit of a misstep as well. Going to lose the medevac and 13 workers going down. So Zest. Wow. And yeah, now BYUN is kind of really feeling the pressure here. He takes up his whole army to go for a drop, leaving nothing at home. And yeah, he's just going to have to sacrifice this position. Not that much healing as well. Stim is complete, so now he's going to go down the ramp, but the recall just in time to pick off these medevacs. A couple of the Stalkers are going to go down, but it's just not enough for BYUN right now. And BYUN definitely feels the pressure. He's continuously trying the attack, just trying to buy himself time to recover, to heal. He's down over 30 army supply. I think Zest has done it in this game. It's pretty, like, unlike game number 1, however, I think it's a little bit more clear. Really going to come down to these Widow Mines getting good connections, but the Zealot's actually going to stay on back. He wants to bait the shots with the Blink Stalkers before moving in, but now he can attack from multiple angles. The War Prism actually just going to fill with Zealots and move away. It's Colossus as well, but BYUN is on the attack now. We've seen what he can do with a few units. He's going to have to hope that it's enough. Maybe get the War Prism. No, he just gets caught right out here in the middle of the map. A few good Widowmine shots going to weaken up the Zealots, and Zest is going to move his way forward. Blink. It's going to blink right on top of this army. And that is going to be it. GG, Zest. With a very solid game number 5. He is going to go up to match point. Yeah, you know what that means, guys. We're going to be hopping into this match point match to see if Zest can close it out, or if BYUN, the absolute madman, can take it out from underneath him. Best Doritos flavor coming at ya. Yeah, that was spicier than any Dorito could ever be. You know what? It's in the game, spawning down here in the bottom position. He is BYUN. And his opponent up here in the top, he is the blue Protoss Terror, Zest. Now, you may be wondering, hey, why are the scores already set, and why is there a best of 7 icon on here? Well, because internet is a fickle thing. I am actually recording this completely in the dark without internet because my provider has decided that my money is no good to them right now, and they cannot give me any internet for it. So Basically, we were casting this. This is from the ITaX 29 Grand Finals between BYUN and Zest. Replayed earlier today from replays for the English audience, and before we could actually finish the series, literally the last 2 minutes of the game, we had a little bit of an issue where my internet died. So now, we are going to be bringing it here because this was such an epic game. I don't think I could let you guys miss out on it, and I hope you enjoyed as much as we did, because this is an action-packed series. Just an amazing first game, 26 minutes. And then the rest of them, very aggressive, very stripey, just so much tension building in this series up to this game right here. Now, I won't say if Zest won it just yet, as there might be a game right after it. I will not say. You'll have to find out by the video. But already we do see BYUN going to be hanging around. Not going to be too aggressive right now, just keeping that Reaper on the scouting pad, trying to make sure that there is no proxies in any of the natural locations, just to make sure that Zest is playing it by the books, which, by the way, is the least scary form of Protoss, even though Protoss is still a very powerful race. BYUN is going to be coming in, trying to get a little bit of damage done. I would have hoped that he would get some scouting instead. He would have seen the Twilight Council being dropped. Zest heavily utilizes that Twilight Council tech, not just for those standard blink timings, not just for Adept Glaives, but he's also shown a lot of power in his all-ins. Just really being able to put the aggression on and put the power against Terran players who have struggled in the past to defend it. But we'll have to see, because BYUN is on a whole nother level of Terran right now. Even though he has just recently come back from military service, he has shown that all the old tricks are still around, kicking in the head, as well as learning some brand new ones. He's been using a lot of new openings recently that have just absolutely shown us the absolute limit of what a Terran player could do with few units. Now, right now, those few units are going to get taken down by the first couple of Stalkers, as Zest is going to be throwing down the additional gateway, I believe, right here, just to, just to kind of make sure that his units warp in relatively close. BYUN recognizes this, going for the 3 racks right now. I don't think this is the best option for him, as I do think that to defend this, he's going to need siege tanks. Siege tanks, obviously, the best counter to this strategy. Zest, however, really showing his hand right now. He's got 5 gateways on the way. I doubt there will ever be a 3rd base, as that Reaper is going to find out pretty soon. And BYUN really just going to try and mitigate the damage here. He does have concussive shells, and these Stalkers don't have blink, so he's going to try and pick off as many of them as possible. I'm a little bit worried by this, as now that Zest has those additional gateway finished, there is the possibility of him getting caught out here with a lot of units, making the defense that much harder. Does get to cancel one of those warp-ins, going straight for the Stalker. I think the probe is the scarier thing right now. And BYUN might have overstayed his welcome quite a bit, as Blink is now complete. A lot more units going to be rallied out to this location, but he has to pull those back for the defense. Now, Zest is pretty much all in with this. He has shown his hand, and now it's down to BYUN to defend it. If he can do so, then Zest is going to be dead in the water, but I don't know if BYUN will have enough units here. Already the SCVs starting to dwindle under the heat of the pressure. And now Zest can really just rotate around these locations since there isn't any AoE to stop them. Trying to get those bunkers up. That is not going to be enough here as Zest going to continue to power his way through. Doesn't want to overextend. He wants to make sure that those Marauders do not take out the Stalkers too quickly. Now keep in mind as well, Stim has completed, so BYUN moving very far forward. Every single time he stims, it's going to be a lot harder for him to hold this, as he still has absolutely no medevacs until that one just popped. And I think from here, it's going to be a little bit of a slow decline in BYUN's health. As yeah, there's just not enough healing to deal with this, and with the addition of the shield batteries and the zealots, BYUN is just taking way too much damage, even having to pull all of the SCVs on the low ground to deal with this. One thing he does need to do as well is save that base. If he loses that, then it is an instant game over. Luckily for him, it does not look like Zest is going to be focusing that down. And he will be able to save it for now, but at what absolute what cost? You know, back at home, he's even starting to not necessarily end the assault, but he's just kind of making sure that if BYUN is able to hold here, he is still going to be very far ahead with that third base and the Robo facility as well. I think BYUN is having just not the good game. He's a little bit flustered. You can really feel it come through the screen. Still, he's holding out hope for a hero. Unfortunately, without being able to mine that additional gas, that's going to be a lot less medevacs for him. That's a lot less Marauders. So, again, just this little positioning here by Zest with the shield batteries as well. This is just so hard to break, and I think BYUN needs to do it soon if he's going to have any chance. Although I gotta say, Zest is just going absolute madman right now, even getting the fourth base before his third even completes. BYUN kind of stuck in this two-base position. He did get that third Arbiter command early, very early. It was a 3CC, 3 racks build, but he's just not able to utilize it right now. Scan going down, revealing that the third base is in play, and now BYUN knows once again that it is just a race against time for him. He does get a couple good shots with those siege tanks, however, which is really nice. I feel like it's really going to be really important to utilize that AoE effectively to break out of this location, but he's going to have to break it soon. I keep saying this, but yeah. The sooner you break out of this, the sooner you can try and go on the offensive, but I don't know, Kev, as we see Zest is going to just forfeit this position. He has done more than enough to fluster BYUN and to take BYUN off his game. And I think it's all a matter of the perspective here. It's currently up 30 army supply for Zest. And there's still just nothing coming out of BYUN to move across. The worst thing is, if you do try to engage into that Stalker ball, you are just going to get picked off and blinked away on. So there's not that much that BYUN can do for the attack.
It's kind of funny though. Every time that Zest loses one of those pylons, he is supply blocked. Little tip: I don't think you should rely on those pylons for actual supply. But here we go. It's not going to matter too much as BYUN is in a corner right now. The Immortals going to get on top of the siege tanks as well as the Zealots. And now BYUN is on the retreat. His third base is completely forfeit. All of his SCVs on it are dead. And the Mules are going down as well. He has one last opportunity here to fight his way back. But I think that is going to be it for our Red Terran friend. As his units just get continuously dwindled down, the SCV count is falling quite heavily. And with that, GG is called. Zest takes the series 4-2.